All right. Let's get started here. Welcome to the market wrap for January 24th, 2019. This is Ifan from the Strategic Day Trader. And tomorrow will be our last day of the open house. So if you haven't had a chance to come visit, check out the trades that are going on, see what our methodology is all about. Tomorrow is the last day. It's also the last day for the current promotion that's going on. There are links in the description for you to check out, see if you might be interested. But like I said, tomorrow's the last day of the open house. Got a lot of great contributions from the new people over the last week. Some really good questions, some good scanning. So I had a lot of fun this week. It's been a good time. So hopefully tomorrow we can close it out strong. Okay, so let's just recap the market here. Let's go to the hourly. We put our line in the sand as far as shedding our bearish bias over 163.51. The Qs got close. The SPY also got close to taking out its pivot, but neither of them were quite able to do so. Okay, so today, about as neutral of a day as you get. Didn't break down, didn't break out. Okay, so bias remains the same. We'll be using yesterday's high as our line in the sand for when we shed our bearish bias. Okay, pretty simple here on the Qs and SPY. If we get another muted day, I'm anticipating that next week will be when the fireworks happen, because we'll have the big earnings coming next week. Okay, and it does seem like the market is kind of waiting on that. I mean, look at this, right? We started to base, we tried to go lower, we tried to go higher, and now we're back in the base. Okay, so I think the market's kind of waiting to see how these companies, these really large cap companies, performed in Q4. So I think that's going to really dictate the next direction in the market. Okay, on a little bar like this, I just don't really want to make too much out of nothing. Okay, so Qs are going to close up 0.65%. SPY is going to be just about flat. 0.05. So the relative strength in the Qs here is because of the semis. I think XL and X reported very, very strong day for the XL and X. And congrats to the strategic swing trader members. This was called to enter swing at the close yesterday to be played long. So nice little play on the XL and X. Nice continuation there. We actually kind of all benefited from this on our day trades today. So we'll hop into that. I played the AMAT. This was an official call given to you in the morning. It was a gap up right at the open. It was a gap up, and we were into this wide range red bar, and I wanted to get as much retracement of it as I could. Okay, we got a nice 1 minute base at the high of the day at the open. So this was just a breakout. So our definition of a breakout is we get some equal highs, equal lows, right? And then once we clear. So the numbers on this were 37.17. Yeah, I waited for this bar to form and then over that. And then the stop was back here, kind of where the base first started. Okay. So actually, no, sorry, 36.80. 36.80. Okay. The management I think could have been better. I initially had targets for 37.70. That was the first placeholder, and then 38 as a target too. Notice on the daily here where that target comes from. This top of this bar is 38.07. So I rounded it down to 38. And that's what we're looking for as target 2. High of the day ended up being 37.92. But unfortunately, I got a little bit impatient with this morning, and as this was going up, market started to show a little bit of weakness there. I said trail half on the 2 minute bar, so it was a pretty small front half on that winner there. Trailed under, I think, 33, under 34, and then took another portion when we actually got to the target 2 or the initial target 1, and then eventually trailed the back half as the uptrend ended. So yeah, I did let the room know, this really was the target 2. I'm going to try and hold it for more. And then that piece ended up breaking the uptrend. So, was holding for more, just didn't get it. I liked that it was showing a lot of relative strength. The XL and X was still making new highs. I thought, let's get one more push. There wasn't one more push in it. So overall, not as nice of a winner. Sammy had a similar call on the WDC, also a gap up on the daily, did a pullback instead of a breakout, and did a much better job with the management on the WDC. But those were the only two that triggered, the two official plays that triggered. I called this AAL twice. Sammy called it as well. I really like this gap. I know it did close down from the gap, but this is what I was looking at, was clearing this sideways price action, was gapping up. I wanted it to clear at least 34, which it wasn't doing in the pre-market, and then at the open got a little bit of a boost, and up it went. So what I was looking at initially was a 1 minute high-low. Okay, a 1 minute high-low. That didn't form. I was looking at a 2 minute high-low, and then that ended up making new lows. And then Sammy was looking for it to maybe break above this base. I think we're aware that, it's shown only weakness so far. Low of the day bases are not the kind of pullbacks I like. Okay, so it pulled back, basing at the lows, and then it never triggered and took out the stop, so it got canceled. So, just when it comes to pullbacks, right, we all know pullbacks aren't created equally, right? But is this retracement and then basing at the lows going to be something that has a high odds? I typically don't find these to be as high odds. If you compare that with the WDC, which moved up and then gave you a 50%, maybe even closer to 60% retracement, I will play this much more often. This has proven to me that there is strength, that there is buyers right at the open, right? And that's a nice retracement. This kind of retracement where primarily it's just been making lower lows at the open, I want to be extra cautious of. I want to wait for confirmation, right? And that base, not any different than this other low of the day base, right? Here on the AAL. And you can see, right, these kind of bases, that's why I said, they're not that high odds. When they do work, you do get a lot of reward to risk, because it's usually kind of a small stop and then high reward to risk, right? But it's one of those things that I think sometimes that common saying of buy low, sell high can mislead people when used in the wrong context. And typically low of the day bases, even on what I consider to be a very good gap up, is usually not a high odds play. Okay, so the AAL was called a total of 3 times. None of them triggered. And then this RCI I called as well. Was looking for a low of the day base breakdown, and then didn't come. I was waiting for this 15-minute to lose its extension, and then finally it started to move away out the lows, and I saw that the 15-minute was changing the angle. And so I called it, but it just never even came close to the trigger and went higher instead. I guess somebody could have picked it up off the bottom, played it as long. My preference on this was a gap down, so I am bearish on it. Okay? So, I think there'll be a lot more to look at. I'll have to be a little bit more pickier about what I review, and of course I'll review anything I call, but just as far as like the additional ideas. I know someone played the LOB. I only had 2 ideas going into the afternoon. It was the LOB for a breakdown, and the RCI, and I decided I liked the RCI a little bit better, and so I let this one go. But I do know someone in the room did play it, so and all the credit goes to you. You push the button, you manage it, and so those profits are all yours. Okay, so going into tomorrow, it is going to be the last day of the open house, but the things have been picking up this week. So I think there should be some good trading still left tomorrow, even if it is the end of the week. So whether you're been enjoying the week already or looking to just check it out, tomorrow is the last day. Okay, so there is a link in the description. And that's going to do it for today's market wrap. We'll see what the market brings us tomorrow. And I hope you have a good evening. All right, I'll talk to you tomorrow.